Hello friends, welcome back to Dig It with Raven. This is the third and final Great Pyramid video. If you haven't seen those other two videos yet, definitely check them out in order to become the ultimate pyramid master. In those other two videos, we talked about how the pyramids were built by skilled workers and not slaves or aliens, and then we also talked about how the pyramids were probably built. Today is going to be a little bit of a different video where I want to address some of the conspiracy theories around the Great Pyramid of Gizeh, in particular all the really ridiculous ones that people in the popular media have been making. Oh my goodness, I can already imagine the comments in this video. It's gonna be an adventure, fam. In preparation for this video, I have watched more ancient aliens than I dare to admit. I've seen all the YouTube videos and I have read all of the sources. And let me tell you, my head hurts. So let's go ahead and get into some of the most popular conspiracies of the Great Pyramid of Gizeh.
We're told that the Great Pyramid was a tomb for the pharaoh. But there's never been a body found inside the Great Pyramid.
So the first main popular conspiracy is that the Great Pyramid of Gizeh is not a tomb, and we don't actually know why the pyramid was constructed in the first place. Some people believe that because we found no mummies inside of a pyramid and that they're undecorated, that they were never places of burial. Well, this is a really easy answer because we know that all pyramids in Egypt were constructed as tombs. There's a freaking sarcophagus inside of the Great Pyramid of Gizeh. It's right there. We also have evidence of other pyramids being used as tombs. We have ancient writings in the pyramids called pyramid texts that discuss the afterlife. I can't give you information that's any more convincing than that. Khufu sarcophagus and chamber are both empty, and ancient astronaut theorists, as they like to call themselves, claim that this absence of anything in the pyramid proves that the pyramid wasn't built as a place of burial. But the pyramid has a long history of being looted, used, and abused. The Arab Caliph Al-Mamun is supposed to have been the first person to have entered the pyramid around 820 CE. What the Caliph was doing was he was looking for treasure, and he actually entered the Great Pyramid by tunneling into it near where the entrance was thought to have been. But the writer Strabo, who lived between the 1st century BCE and the 1st century CE, visited Egypt and wrote about the pyramids and said that a stone could actually be taken out of the pyramids a little way up on one of the sides. It seems like there was like a door of some sort that was already open at the pyramid. The Great Pyramid is known to have been looted as early as the Middle Kingdom and was probably sealed and reopened multiple times throughout its history. Think about it. A pyramid is a giant structure on the earth and it pretty much just yells, "Hey, over here, I'm dead and had lots of money to build this giant thing, so that means I've probably been buried with a bunch of really cool expensive stuff." Can you even make a bigger invitation for looters and robbers? This lack of security in pyramids is also probably why pharaohs decided to abandon the construction of pyramids and hide their tombs in rock-cut structures that sort of resembled that same structure, just like in the Valley of the Kings, you know, where they found King Tut. There's another wild possibility, though I don't know how much traction it has, and it's that Khufu may still in fact be inside this pyramid. In 2017, they found a hidden chamber in the Great Pyramid that was found using cosmic ray particles. Like, crazy, right? We don't yet know the exact precise location of this chamber, but who knows what might be inside once we track it down. Archaeology is an ever-changing mystery sometimes, and that's one of the reasons why it's so exciting. All right, I'm fired up. Next theory, let's keep going. The pyramid measures 9,131 inches on each side. If you add up all four sides, you get a total of 36,524 inches all the way around. If you move the decimal over a few numbers, then you get 325.24, the number that matches the exact length of the solar year. This theory claims that if you measure the perimeter of the base of the pyramid, the total comes to 36,524 inches, which corresponds to the exact length of 1 year according to our current solar calendar. The ancient Egyptians had two main calendars, a solar one like we do, and a lunar one. The lunar calendar came first and went by the phases of the moon. The lunar calendar was divided up into 12 months of about 29 or 30 days, and it was about 10 or 11 days shorter than the solar year, so every so often they would have a 13th month thrown in there just to keep the agricultural seasons and all the celebrations on the same track. The ancient Egyptian solar calendar did add up to 365 days, but they didn't have a leap day until the Romans came in. But calendars aside, the ancient Egyptians did not use inches as a system of measurement. They used the cubit. The imperial system of measurement wasn't created until 1824, and it is completely irrelevant when you're looking at the measurement of the pyramid. Like, oh man, how did they know it was going to add up to 36,525 inches all around exactly? They didn't. Also, where are these conspiracy theorists getting this number from? I'm going to be doing an experiment on camera using the exact measurements of the perimeter of the Great Pyramid of Gizeh, taken from a survey done in 2015 by Glenn Dash, Mark Lanner, who's been digging at this site of Gizeh for ever, and the Ancient Egyptian Research Associates. They measured the perimeter of the pyramid using the location of casing stones that are still in place, and also the markers that they found where other stones would have been. So it's the most accurate measurement that we have to date. The sides of the Great Pyramid are pretty much the same length, but they do deviate ever so slightly. And when I say slightly, I mean only a few centimeters of each other. Like, that's how accurate they are. Now let's disprove this conspiracy theory with just some simple calculations, shall we? All right, I've got my calculator ready to go. Let's drop some knowledge. The average length of the four sides of the Great Pyramid of Gizeh is 230.363 meters, or since we're using the imperial system in this theory, it is 755.738 feet. So if we multiply 755.738 feet times 4, we get a total of 3,022.952 feet. There are 12 inches in a foot, so if we multiply this by 12, we get the number 36,275.424. No amount of decimal moving here would actually add up to our solar calendar year. Now, to make sure I don't get any comments about only using the average number, let's do the calculation again, but this time with the exact measurements for each side of the pyramid. So we have the north side, which is 755.673 feet, plus the east side, which is 755.689 feet. Then let's move on to the south side, which is 755.853 feet. And then finally, we're gonna add up the west side, which is 755.928 feet. If we add that all together, that gives us 3,023.143 feet, which is a difference of 0.191 feet, or 2.3 inches from our original calculations using the average length of the sides of the pyramids. Let's multiply this new number by 12, and we get 36,277.716 inches, which is a difference of 20.3 inches from my first calculation. And I don't know about you, but that is still not even close to the 36,525 inches that Ancient Aliens claims the pyramid's perimeter to be. I just beat Ancient Aliens using simple math. Give me a real challenge. Come on, guys. Next one.
Is that if you actually take the length of the Great Pyramid at its mean socket level, which is the corners of the actual building, it translates into 365.24 pyramid cubits, which just happens to be the Earth a year right down to a quarter day.
The next theory is that if you measure the length of one of the sides of the Great Pyramid from corner to corner, it measures 365.242 cubits long, which correlates to the days of the year right down to that quarter day that we use for our leap year every 4 years. Again, another theory with the days of the year, but this time with cubits. A cubit is the system of measurement that was used by the ancient Egyptians. Flinders Petrie, a super famous Egyptologist, has made some calculations and says that one Egyptian cubit is approximately 20.62 inches, or 0.5237 meters, plus or minus 0.01 of an inch. So if this calculation for a cubit is correct, and since the Ancient Aliens show is using the same calculation for cubit as we are, that means the average length of the sides of the pyramids is anywhere between 440.05 cubits and 439.62 cubits, not 365.242 cubits. Which pyramid are these guys even measuring? Again, that is just simple math that I used based on the calculations of the sides of the pyramids and converting that into cubits.
If you take the location of the Great Pyramid as a coordinate, this number sequence of this coordinate matches exactly the speed of light traveling through space, measured in meters per second.
If you take the location of the Great Pyramid as a geographic coordinate, it equals 29.9792458 degrees north, which also matches up exactly to the speed of light in meters per second. Oh man, this is a fun one. Let's get into it. We're back onto another system of measurement that the ancient Egyptians didn't use, and they also just didn't even know about it. The ancient astronaut theorists have decided to stop using the imperial system for this fact because it doesn't add up to the numbers that they want, so instead they're using the metric system. The metric system wasn't even created until the 1790s, so that means the conspiracy theorists are just looking for any sort of number that would suit their ideas. Also, the number they give is not the geographic location of the pyramid. The number that they give you is just a point of latitude. For a proper exact geographic location, you need both the latitude and the longitude. The number they give again is only the latitude point, which runs across the entire surface of the globe. So that means there are probably millions of locations that you can point on this line. Also, the latitude that they use doesn't even run through the point of the pyramid. It's just a random part of the pyramid. Remember, the pyramid is super big. It's not just one little tiny speck on the map. There are multiple latitudes that intersect the Great Pyramids of Gizeh, which give people about 2,000 different numbers to choose from in order to formulate any sort of idea that they want. Saying that the Pyramid of Gizeh matches the speed of light is just a coincidence based on measurements that they didn't use and on maps that didn't even exist yet. Better luck next time, guys. Next!
If you pass a great circle from the Great Pyramid through its cardinal and its ordinal directions, what you find is that these circles will pass through more landmass of the Earth than any other location on the Earth. You find that the Great Pyramid is essentially located at the centre of the world's landmass.
People say that if you draw lines going in every cardinal direction from the Great Pyramid of Gizeh, then it is the geographic center of the Earth, which is essentially the center point of all surfaces, because the lines that come out of the Great Pyramid will cover more land around the Earth than if you did that same experiment at any other point in the globe. Yes, this was the original calculation 100 years ago. But the conspiracy theorists have conveniently forgotten to look at the revised and more correct calculations that have taken place over the years. In 1973, they revised this calculation of the geographical center of all land surface on Earth to a site of Kırşehir, Turkey. I apologize for my pronunciation, I bet it was wrong. Then again in 2003, because science is never done trying to better itself, they recalculated it to İskilip in Turkey. I solved that one with the quickest Google search ever.
Could there be a connection between the Pyramid of Khufu and other pyramids around the world? Or is it possible that the builders of these engineering marvels had an otherworldly inspiration, as ancient astronaut theorists suggest?
All right, now for one that I watched an entire episode of Ancient Aliens about. It is that so many other cultures around the world have pyramids. How on earth did they all get the same technology to build such similar structures without the help from the same teachers? This theory is so degrading to ancient civilizations. Ancient astronaut theorists, I'm not even gonna say that anymore. They consistently bring up the similarities in architecture in places like Gizeh, Chichen Itza, Tikal, and any other old building that has a pyramidal shape. They continually question how all of these people were able to build such similar structures without the help of the same, possibly extraterrestrial source. Here's the tea. Pyramids are the most stable structure when you want to build something tall. Straight walls lose a lot of stability as they get higher, and pyramids are super stable, and every ancient culture was able to easily figure that out. Also, all of these pyramids were built at different times throughout history. It's not like they popped up all at once. And pyramids aren't the only things that these ancient civilizations have in common. They also all created fire, they all created pottery, they figured out how to farm with irrigation, they all made textiles. Are you saying that aliens did all of this too? And I know what's gonna happen in the comments now that I've said this, but there we have it. All of these things, fire, pottery, textiles, agriculture, they were all independently invented at various times all over the world, and guess what? So were pyramids. The problem with conspiracy theories is that they only serve one purpose. They are so laser focused on trying to prove one minuscule thing that they refuse to look at any other argument or possibility. So many of these allegations have been made solely about the Great Pyramid of Gizeh, yet the other two pyramids at Gizeh are just sitting right next to it, and they're constantly ignored. And those are just the three famous pyramids. The ancient Egyptians built over 100 pyramids, but yet we don't hear anything about the other ones, do we? Didn't aliens build those too? Aren't they special in any way, Mr. Conspiracy Man? I know there are a lot of other theories about the Great Pyramid of Gizeh, but I don't have time to go into all of them in this video. Suffice to say that they can all be debunked using just a little bit of research and a little bit of critical thinking. Please be wary of so-called experts on television. For all you know, they're just jewel thieves or have degrees in communications or psychology instead of ancient history or archaeology or any other relevant field that would give them even a cubit of credibility. archaeology. It would all just be a bit of, silly fun to think about these crazy theories. But with these shows and a lot of things, there's something a lot more sinister going on. A common and recurring theme on these shows and web pages is the idea that ancient non-European civilizations simply didn't have the intelligence or skills to build what amounts to be the most basic building structure. By focusing almost exclusively on non-white ancient cultures, what they are inherently saying is that people of color could in no way possess the ability to accomplish feats of culture and architecture at the same time when people in parts of Europe weren't building anything even remotely close. So don't believe everything you see on TV or read on the internet. It's that simple. Do your homework and make sure that you look into things yourself before just jumping to conclusions. The only person with crazy electrified hair that you should be listening to is Albert Einstein. If you liked my crazy little rant there, go ahead and like this video and make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. If this video does well enough, I'll be sure to turn it into a series where I go ahead and right the wrongs of all popular media and pseudo-archaeology. Big thank you to all of my patrons over on Patreon. They really help support the funding of this channel, so big love over to them.